This week on the WIU Football Coaches Show, the Leathernecks strolled into the Unidome looking to spoil the Panthers' homecoming, and the game ended in the craziest of ways. Highlights, interviews, and a preview of Missouri State this week coming up ahead on the WIU Football Coaches Show. Welcome to another edition of the WIU Football Coaches Show. I'm Danny Fry alongside Leatherneck head football coach Charlie Fisher. Western continued to play well on the road in a dramatic last-second win at Northern Iowa, spoiling the Panthers' homecoming 38-29. Coach, your team really showed a new level of grit in that back and forth.
Tremendous resolve, and grit's a great word. Poise is another word I'd like to use, and just a group of guys that weren't going to be denied. Sean McGuire, just continues to do what he does. He wins games at the buzzer, and that's really the mark of a great quarterback.
And we'll talk a lot more about him later on in the show, but for now, let's check out the first half highlights from the Cedar Valley of Iowa. Tough place to play, the Unidome. What was it like getting acclimated and adjusted to that place?
Yeah, we had a little bit of a tough start just in terms of our procedure penalties and getting used to the noise. I loved our start from an offensive standpoint, but 2 penalties early hurt us. But, a great place to play football.
Finish this fight definitely came into play on Saturday. All smiles before the game of Coach Farley, but then it was all down to business. Western's opening drive, Sean McGuire fires a bomb over the middle to Jalen Acklin. No surprise there. Acklin finds a way to reel it in. Next play, McGuire dumps it off to Steve McShane. He leaps for the pylon, barely out of bounds in this one.
Yeah, we had 2 great plays there. 3rd and short, we hit them beat, and then we hit the screen. And we had 2 penalties here that cost us, but we did get points.
Yes, 2 false start penalties. It ends up leading to a 28-yard Sam Crosa field goal. 3-0 Western after the first quarter. Early on in the second quarter, Adam Fellner can't handle the snap. The Western punter throws it away. Solid field position for UNI, but Eli Dunn throws it right to Tyron Holloway for the pick, and that bails out the special teams.
Absolutely, and a big play by Fellner making that throw, saved us yardage, got it back to the original line of scrimmage, and then, we get pressure on Dunn. He throws it to Tyron. He's Johnny on the spot.
It's just a heads-up play really all around there. And then Eli Dunn tracked down by Pete Swenson in the back of the end zone. Good enough for 2 Western points. 5-0 Western, 7.5 minutes left in the second.
Yeah, Pete's from Iowa. That was a big play for him. And he's played so well here. He's been an excellent sack guy for us over the last 2 or 3 years, and great for his family to see that, obviously.
Took UNI until 4:53 remaining in the first half. Get on the board. Dunn to Elias Nissen in the corner from 30 yards away. UNI snags their first lead of the ball game, 7-5. And the Panthers taking advantage of great field position, especially in the second quarter. Coach slant to Derice Fountain. Ball's knocked loose. Xavier Rowe knocks it loose, but recovered in the end zone for a UNI touchdown in the final minute of the first half. Good play by Rowe. Western didn't quite get the break there.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks in a row we've knocked one loose in the end zone. Haven't been able to get on it. We just, we need to be alert in those situations. They did a good job of jumping on it. But, I felt like we had played so well in the first half. But, again, that finish by them in the last 4 minutes turned the tide, even though we had played well, particularly defensively. So, we felt like we had to flip the switch in a hurry.
As we bring it back here, it was a game of field position and really who could cash in with it the most in the first half.
Absolutely. And football is a game of field position. And for the most part, we had that early, gave it up late. They took advantage of it with those 2 54-yard drives. And so we had to go back in and regroup. I felt like we'd played good football for the most part. We'd outgained them in yardage. And we just, had a little bit of misfortune there right before the half, but still felt good about where we were.
Yes, when you look at the halftime stats, pretty much everything was Western's way except the penalties. And back to the defense, was it an emphasis to really pressure Eli Dunn?
Well, we're a pressure outfit anyhow, Danny. That's what we do. But we felt like we could get to Dunn. He had shown that he would throw it up a little bit under duress. Now, I will say this. I thought Eli Dunn played a very good football game, and he showed some scramble ability late in the game that maybe we weren't quite ready for. That kind of surprised us a little. But, he's a good, solid player. There's great players in this league, and it's going to always come down to a handful of plays.
And you talk about the stats being there, but what was something that really missed the most from your team in the first half?
Well, certainly the penalties hurt us, but when you're on the road like that and you get down to the 1 and we got points, but certainly when you're knocking on the door at the 1-yard line, you're expecting a whole lot more than that. So we had to settle for a field goal from the ball in the 11. That certainly didn't help us. And then we had a hard time getting in rhythm a little bit. We'd move the ball, then have a penalty, we do something that hurt us, and it just kind of chopped it up a little bit. We just couldn't get in rhythm. We've got a good offensive team. I think anybody recognizes that. But offense is rhythm, and when we're in rhythm, we're hard to stop.
Now it's time to go underneath the helmet once again for a closer look at one of your Leathernecks in the 2-minute drill. This time the guest is Michael Bischoff. 2-minute drill guest this week is Michael Bischoff. Michael, thanks for taking the time. Played a big role in that win at UNI. What was your reaction when the ball popped in your hands there and you took it to the house at the end?
Just didn't really think, just started running. And like you said, it just ended up in my chest, and then seeing my teammates after, it was a special moment. I
mean, you said you saw your teammates. I mean, you got really pumped up. Do you have like a scale of how pumped you were? Because there's a few pictures going out.
On a scale from 1 to 10, definitely a 15.
There you go. And talk about, I mean, you had to go through a little bit of adversity last year. What's it been like coming back from injury this year?
Well, just having my teammates and my coaches believe in me and being able to step into a role and being comfortable and just being able to impact and make a win this weekend with my teammates was it was a great opportunity.
Yeah, got a favorite baseball team?
Chicago Cubs.
You got the Cubs. So how are you enjoying that playoff run now?
I'm very excited. They won the World Series last year, so hopefully they can do it again.
God, does that carry over for football too?
Absolutely. With the type of passion those guys play with, I want to play the game with that same type of passion.
I got you. Your favorite NFL team?
Chicago Bears.
What'd you think of Mitch Trubisky?
I think he's the real deal. I think the Bears are going to be very good in up and coming seasons, but he's still a rookie, so let him play it out.
All right. Do you have a favorite food or a favorite food kind of on the road that stands out for you?
The bread with the butter. It's definitely one of the favorite things on road games.
Colin Saunders was like that too. And speaking of Colin, he has a bunch of hidden talents. Do you have a hidden talent?
Messing with Sean McGuire. I definitely tease him a lot. We live together, so I get under his skin a lot, so that's probably one of my hidden talents.
Oh, we'll go with that. How clutch is Sean McGuire?
He's very clutch. I mean, him and Jalen Acklin, very good duo.
Awesome. All right, Michael, thanks again for coming on. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
When we come back, Coach Fisher and I will break down the wild second half from the Unidome. Stick around. Welcome back to the WIU Football Coaches Show. I'm Danny Fry alongside Leatherneck head football coach Charlie Fisher. Western Illinois surrendered back-to-back touchdowns in the first half to trail 14-5 at the half at Northern Iowa. Once again, Coach, I mean, comfortability for your team, even though being on the road?
Oh, yeah. We knew it was going to be hard. I mean, it's a hard place to play. I mean, they got like a 250 record in wins and 52 losses, so that wasn't a surprise. But we had really played pretty well in the first half. We just need to flip the script. We need to get a little momentum going, which we got with the Griffith interception. And we just started playing much, much better at that point. And we got a confident bunch. We believe in what we can do. We just went out there and showed it.
Now to the second half. Let's see the Leathernecks show it as we go back to the Unidome. And you need a little bit of a jump start on the offense, but how about the defense helping things out? 11:15 left in the third quarter. David Griffith steps in front for the interception.
Usually turnovers deep are going to lead to points, and we were able to take advantage of this. This play right here is amazing.
He steps out, evades pressure like a pro there, and then, of course, Jalen Acklin's waiting for him.
Right, Ack is just Johnny on the spot again, and, he always finds his way open. He's done a great job.
Steve McShane, especially in the first half, had a lot of nice moves. How about this one here? Almost faking out the cameraman a little bit from just a yard out, but he ends up going in. And the Leathernecks take advantage of the Griffith interception, closing the gap. Now it's 14-12.
I thought Steve played a really good game. All-purpose guy, can catch it, he can run it, and he certainly is being dynamic on returns.
What a pretty deep pass here, Coach. Over the middle to Zeke LaShore. 4:17 left in the third quarter. Western back in front, 18-14.
Yeah, deep post. That was his first read. Zeke did a great job of beating him down the middle, and what a really, really nice deep throw.
Leathernecks lineup for two. Really creative play call here, but it's tipped before it can get to Zeke. and it will have to settle for a 4-point WIU lead. 2-point conversion, no good. Western turned it up, though, defensively. Colin Saunders throws down Dunn for the sack.
Yeah, Collins really played good. He was our player of the week, and, he's a dominant force.
Very next play, Michael Bischoff. What a game he had. Brett Taylor teams up with him for another sack, but really Michael Bischoff was an X factor, and he was fired up.
Yeah, he's played really well for us, on special teams, came in there on defense, really did a nice job.
18-14 Western heading into the fourth. 5 minutes in, McGuire to Ackland on the sideline. Seems like they're always in sync, Coach.
They really are. They have found a real chemistry, and, here's the double move coming up down the middle.
Right to Ackland. That's from 38 yards away. Extra point good by Crosa. 25-14 Leathernecks. Seems like that pass play seems to work.
Yeah, Jalen's an excellent route runner. That's just a staple double move for us, and he's got it down.
The Panther offense woke up, though. Dunn to Jalen Rima, gain of 18. Then Dunn to Nissen again in the corner, closing the gap to 25-20, 7:27 left, but UNI goes for 2. There is Nissen in the back of the end zone, back to him for a key UNI 2 points. So now it's just a field goal game, 25-22. 4th down and 3 for UNI. Later on in the fourth, Dunn does a nice job escaping pressure, dumps it off to Allen into Western territory. So close to a turnover on downs there.
Yeah, Dunn, extended the play just enough, and he did a good job of that. I mean, we hit this young man hard, and I got to give him a lot of credit. He played a fine ball game.
Hit Therese Fountain hard too. He left, but then came back in, moves the chains there. Then Dunn to Aaron Graham. This seemed like the crushing blow from 16 yards away to big strike. UNI takes a late lead, 29-25. Only a minute 12 remaining, but time to drive. Absolutely.
With Sean McGuire, you always feel about your good chance, and what a nice throw and catch here. And you need that first play and that 2-minute drive to win the game. You got to get off the schneid early.
Exactly. Important first play, then backs against the wall. 4th down and 15. What went into this call is McGuire finds space and then hits Gaston on the sideline.
Just, Sean did a nice job extending the play. You're in a bad situation there. You just got to make a play. He did. And then he makes another play here on a big scramble.
Able to get it done on his feet. Gain of 13. Moves the chains, and then they got to move the chains. Stops the clock for a little bit. Here's the biggest play of the game. McGuire floats it to Ackland. He's knocked into the end zone for the go-ahead score. There was a flag. You see Jalen kind of hesitate at the end here, but it was offsides on Northern Iowa. 32-29 Leathernecks. Only 6 seconds left on the clock. Had to be pumped there.
That was a great finish right there, and this is this is fantastic here. We knock it loose, and Bischoff, he gets the ball and runs it in.
What a fitting ending. I mean, probably didn't expect this. Ball pops out. Michael Bischoff, right place, right time, runs it in as clock expires, and that helps Western pad the stats a little bit there. But what a hard fought win, especially to score in the final 10 seconds twice.
Yeah, great win, great finish, and it's right there. It tells it all. The look on Sean McGuire. That's who he is, Danny. That's who he is. He's a guy that's always gives you a chance to win, and he is a jewel to coach, and he's a competitively tough guy.
It was a battle and an absolute nail biter, but ends up Western by 9, 38-29. Sean McGuire, Missouri Valley Football Conference Player of the Week. Been saying that a lot already this year. McGuire 334 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Jalen Ackland, only 158 yards receiving and 7 receptions, but one heck of a day from him still. And Brett Taylor, you pretty much punched him in there. He has a baker's dozen tackles with 13. And like I said, Eli Dunn, not too bad on UNI's side, and Nissen was the favorite target when they got in the red zone. Coach, what was the feeling like when UNI scored to take that lead late?
Well, it's tough, but, we had a minute 12. We worked 2-minute drill all the time. We had 3 timeouts. I mean, we really had plenty of time to get the job done. Now, we had to make a couple of huge plays on 3rd and 4th down, of course, but throughout the drive. But we had good rhythm throughout the drive. So really, we only burned 1 timeout, and that was on the 4th down call, just for me to give us a little more time to think about what we wanted to do. And we had a nice play call. Coach Elliott did a nice job down throughout the drive, and our guys stepped up and made plays. And you got to be at your best when it's needed most.
And Coach, it looked like, this team is so great. Just defense, offense, they pick each other up.
Yeah, the variable term here is team. We got a really good group of kids that they put a lot of time and investment into this program. They've been here a long time, and they're not going to surrender without a fight. I can tell you that, and that's our motto. finish this fight. And we got a lot of work ahead of us, but round 5 goes to Leathernecks.
Round 5 goes to the Leathernecks. Another guy who helped do that. Another fantastic game from Jalen Ackland.
Yeah, Ack is just, he is playing at such a high level. I mean, he was really playing at an All-American level. And I've told numerous people that have contacted me throughout the nation that cover FCS football, this kid is there's not a wideout playing better than this guy right now. I mean, he is playing at a high level. He played with a hurt shoulder, and he's another competitively tough kid and a coach's son. He's just been getting it done.
Well, he's starting to really get those accolades, really get recognized nationally. He totally deserves it as well. When we come back to the WIU Football Coaches Show, an even closer look into Western's game-winning drive at UNI.
She wins the game! She wins the game! The Leathernecks win!
And we're back on the WIU Football Coaches Show. Junior quarterback Sean McGuire showed off his leadership skills again on another game-winning drive. So we caught up with him about the late-game heroics.
We were all talking about in the huddle, just, feel whatever you're going to feel, feel all of it. If you want to be nervous, if you want to be anxious, you're going to feel that, but let it feel. So it just made it that much sweeter to win.
The more and more you do it, our guys understand the tempo and the rhythm that's required. They understand to fight for the out-of-bounds stripe if they can. And whenever you're in those end-of-the-game 2-minute situations, our guys handled it to perfection. We were able to line up with great pace.
A lot easier, when you have that in the back of your mind, like we've done this before. 4th and 15, we had a 4th and 10 last year. Let's add 5 yards to it, So I mean, that was our mindset.
Sometimes on 4th and 15, you just have to have a little faith.
You call a play and then you hope for the best. And and again, that was just an unbelievable play between Sean McGuire and Brandon Gaston. And again, when the games are on the line, players have to step up and make plays, and we did that. And we had guys that did that. Sean did that.
That's our big theme with the receivers and myself is just I trust them, they trust me, and when you have that 4th and 15, I could have gone to any of the receivers on the field. So. It turned out to be Brandon. He made a heck of a catch on the sideline.
The celebration was on at UNI when the final horn sounded.
Just pure joy, really. I think some of us might have had tears of joy even. We traveled well, so a lot of our fans were there supporting us, and to run over there after the game and look up and see all the Leatherneck fans, it was awesome. That's what really pumped us up.
Coach Elliott calls the plays, but praises his colleagues and players every week.
When you work with such sharp guys and sharp minds, it makes it a lot easier to put together good plans and plans that our kids can execute. And you keep it simple and you do the things that we do well. You always got to go into every game with a plan, and you got to map out every situation you can possibly dream up. Because that's that's the beautiful thing about sports and about football is sometimes in those unexpected times those situations happen, and your kids have to be aware and prepared to be able to handle all those.
Coach, Sean really has that. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. He just has that poise. He had it again Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, he's got the it factor. One of those is tremendous poise. He's got great leadership. He's got great determination. And, just that will to win. That's what the great ones all have. You look at the guys in the NFL, the Tom Brady's, the John Elways, guys that are noted, Aaron Rodgers, for those last-minute drives. That's the measure of a great player quarterback. I mean, it's easy to play quarterback when you're ahead. It's probably pretty easy when you're way behind, but the guys when the game is the tightest and the game's on the line, they're the guys that step up biggest. And Sean has done, this isn't a surprise now. This young man's done this throughout his career.
You talk about the 2-minute drill and what goes into that game planning for the 2-minute drill that really came into factor there at the end.
Yeah, it's pretty simple for us, really. We run the same plays, and we have a formation for the left hash, a formation for the right hash. And we always keep the tight end on the right side. It's simple. The plays are simple. They have to be because you're playing at a high rate of speed, Dan, so you can't have an over volume of plays, and the players know it. They practice it. They're used to it. The biggest thing is handling the clock, knowing what you got left, using your timeouts. That's a big part of my job, and then the players' execution. And really the big key in any good last-minute drive is the first play. You got to get off in a good rhythm. You get a first play, there's belief, there's rhythm, you get going.
You've really been a part of some thrillers here at WIU.
Yeah.
You're talking about it before the show. And a lot of the times, Western comes out on top there at the end.
Yeah, I'd like to think that's a reflection, hopefully, of our staff's leadership, our leadership of the upper veterans on our team, and just our will and desire to win and knowing that we're never out of it. I think there's just a special quality about teams that can do that. Not every team can. We certainly have showed the resolve to be able to do it, and it gives you a lot of confidence moving forward.
When it comes to decision making, where would you rank Sean McGuire? I mean, you've worked with a lot of quarterbacks.
Well, Sean's right up there. I mean, he does a great job. I'll tell you where and he is so good when he's under the gun. When the pressure's the biggest. I mean, I think that's just where you measure quarterbacks. Can you make those key decisions, and here's the other factor that you have to take in. Do you have the courage to make the big throws? Some guys don't. I mean, you had those throws he made there at the end, and certainly the touchdown to Ackland. I mean, he squeezed that in between three guys. And I mean, he let it rip, and that's anybody knows me, that's what it's all about. You got to step in there, and you got to have the guts to make a big throw. Sean has that.
Some of these definitely showed, and we'll see this weekend coming up. We'll have a preview of this weekend's home contest against Missouri State. That's coming up next after our final timeout.
Western Illinois University allows you to think for yourself and to discover the freedom to become your own.
Own it at Western. Build your own expectations and fill your own shoes.
Explore an academic culture that adapts to you.
Create yourself and inspire originality in an open and safe environment.
Western Illinois University lets you make your own success story.
Think purple.
Think success.
Think Western Illinois University.
Welcome back to the WIU Football Coaches Show. It's time to check in on how the Missouri Valley teams performed this past week. And there were, of course, some really good games. One that really stands out, the South Dakota Coyotes. I mean, Coach and I already knew this, but the Coyotes are legit, beating Bo Pelini and Youngstown State 31-28. North Dakota State shuts out Indiana State 52-0. South Dakota State all over Southern Illinois, and Northern Arizona led by Case Cookus. And they the Lumberjacks hand the Redbirds their first loss of the season. And now the game's on tap for Week 7 in the MVFC. Illinois State goes down to Carbondale to visit the Salukis. Another tough matchup for the Sycamores as they try to pick up their first win. Work cut out for them to the Dakota Dome at South Dakota. Northern Iowa, they try to get back on track. Doesn't get easy for them against the Jackrabbits. And North Dakota State and Youngstown State, that's a big-time matchup in the Valley this week. But for Western Illinois, the Missouri State Bears come to town, fresh off their bye week, seeking their first conference victory. And that's a hungry team, Coach, at 1-4 overall, 0-2 in conference. They're going to be coming in here ready to play.
Yeah, very athletic team. I mean, really, it's a little bit. Their record really doesn't speak to how hard they've been playing, and really playing pretty good football. They hung 43 on Missouri. They played North Dakota State, played Illinois State. I mean, two very good football teams. Missouri's in there. So, it's really, they've had a hard early conference or schedule overall. I like Coach Dave Steckel. I think he does a great job. Very well coached team. Play very hard, very much within his personality. He is a very high energy, tough, old school football coach. They play that way. Now, this one's not going to be easy. None of them are in the Valley. This is just another big test for our team.
Well, Steckel comes from Missouri, where he was the defensive coordinator there, and he really brings that emphasis. But they're going to have to play, the Bears are, without their star Dylan Cole, who's with the Houston Texans right now, having quite the start to an NFL rookie season.
Yeah, Cole's, is quite a player, and he's obviously showing that in the NFL as a rookie free agent. And but they've got other players they've replaced. It's hard to replace a Dylan Cole, of course, but they've got other good players. They play good team defense, very well coached. It's going to be a big test for us offensively, and then they're very diverse on offense.
What was learned from last year's shootout in Springfield, Missouri? That was another one of those nail-biter shootout games you were talking about.
Yeah,
earlier.
very similar. I mean, we talk about finishing the fight, and we had a big lead at half, and we didn't go out and finish the fight well enough, particularly early when we had a chance. Now, that's something we've corrected for the most part this year. We've been a wonderful second-half team. So we've got to, if we're fortunate enough to get in that position, we got to do a better job of closing the door against this team. Certainly their quarterback has changed. They had a dynamic thrower a year ago, a little bit different style offense this year, but certainly very capable.
Well, a little bit more about that new style that Missouri State brings.
Yeah, a lot of option. They're involving a lot of guys. They want to run the football, I think, a little bit more. I think that would be Coach Steckel's preference for them to improve running the football. They've got excellent skill guys, Dan. I mean, they're good at running back. Deion Holloman, one of the outstanding, maybe the best return guy in the nation, also an outstanding receiver. Malik Earl is in that group. He didn't play against us last year. So they've got plenty of weapons. They're certainly a threat. And our guys know this, and we're going to have to be ready to play here at home.
Yeah, just leading right into the next question here. So well on the road, 4-0 this year, but it's all about playing in front of that hometown crowd.
Yeah, and we got to play better at home. We're not going to be afforded the start that we had last 2 weeks ago against South Dakota. Now we came back and played well there in the last 19 minutes, but as playing at home in front of our home folks, we got to start better, and we got to play consistently better for 60 minutes.
And there's something really a cool thing that's going on for this game that you guys are doing to help battle ALS, specifically with Team Gleason.
Yeah, I've been associated with Team Gleason. Steve Gleason, one of my all-time favorite players. Just his grit, determination, toughness as a player. The block punt that he had after Katrina, really probably the hallmark play for that franchise, getting them back on their feet. And ALS is an insidious disease. We've got to find a cure for it. It takes all of us to step up and help find this cure. This is one way for us to do it. Major kudos to Coach Steckel for joining me in this fight. And we can make a difference Saturday, Dan, way beyond the X's and O's.
And what can fans do specifically?
Fans can go online. They can go, on our leatherneck.com, and we have on the storyline, we have the link. It's all easy to go on to donate. You can follow my Twitter feed. We have a lot of ways. And then if you're at the game and you haven't given online, you can give at the game. So there's a lot of ways to help. Your support is needed. And there's so many families that are affected by this terrible disease.
And that's something to give. Again, go leatherneck.com, click on the ALS Team Gleason story, or go to the game as well. Leathernecks would love to have you there as Western plays host to the MSU Bears Saturday afternoon. Kickoff at 3 p.m. at Hanson Field. You can stream the game live as well on ESPN3. For Western Illinois head football coach Charlie Fisher, I'm Danny Fry. Thanks so much for watching.